Welcome once again here to Bethel University Women's Basketball Media Day. My name is Paul Counter. Glad that you've been able to just stop along with us. Great to have Scott Polsgrove, the head coach of the Pilots, with us here today. And Scott, I know that previous to you and I kind of having conversation, we sat down with the gals, and three wonderful young ladies represented your program here today. And I know you have to feel very, very excited about the maturation, both spiritually, mentally, of Mariah Claywell, Maya Shelton, and Nyla Assad. Those are the three that represented your program. But I know that you're excited about a wide variety of things. I know for you, looking back on last year's first-year campaign, a lot of people may or may not understand it, but you've been a tremendously successful men's coach, boys coach over the course of your career. Now you find yourself as a head women's coach at the college level. And so let's talk about some things that you grew through and grew up in, because let's face it, no matter, yes, it's still basketball, you still have to guard, you still have to put the ball in the net, but there's a wide variety of the way we're all wired, and that was, I always felt that, and I will speak from that for my own self, because I coached my daughters when they were young in youth league basketball, and it was a lot different than coaching the boys that I had. I can tell you that. So let's just talk about transitional for you. Was it educational?
Oh, there's no doubt, and I'll be a much better coach this year than I was last year, having gone through it one time with the women. But you're right, basketball is basketball. But there are subtle differences. The women's game is more horizontal. The men's game is more vertical. I would say that probably execution is always important, but might be a little bit more important for the women. But you still got to get the ball in the basket, and you're trying to keep the other team from scoring. So.
Well, it's awfully hard in the league that you're in when the margin of error already is pretty slim, but it's also a difficult situation with the other team's personnel, and other schools, other programs have significant financial advantages. I'm not trying to make any excuses for anybody, because we can say this about anybody, but it's not like everybody's apples are all the same. I mean, this is going on in college football right now to the highest level.
Sure.
Not apples and apples. We can't compare apples and apples here, because there's no comparison. So, understanding what you control, and we as coaches say this all the time. Well, let's control the controllables, and that's all we can do. Is that really the mindset?
It has to be. If you spend your time worrying about the things that you can't control, or you really have no effect on, then you're really just wasting time. So, many of us in the Crossroads League go head-to-head trying to get the same girls.
Sure.
I've been doing this a long time, and I've gotten a lot more no's than yeses in recruiting. But I love the girls in our program. We've got talented girls in our program who are working really hard. And you saw the quality of the three that spoke with you a little bit ago, but we also have more than just those three in the program. So we've got quality young ladies who desire to be good, who strive for excellence every day.
I know last year 9 wins, 19 losses. You guys were 4-14 in the league. I know those numbers are going to improve dramatically this year because of the talent coming back, as well as your fine recruiting class. When you sit down with the recruits, Scott, when they come through the doors, I asked a similar question to the gals on, how do you, quote unquote, sell the program or sell what you're trying to do? Because, I mean, coaches, they have to have a vision. I mean, if we can look across the board, those coaches who are being visionary are the people who can recruit well. They can get their players to perform at a high level. So let's talk about when those student athletes and those parents come onto the campus here at Bethel. What's your spiel?
Yeah. Well, yes, we are selling. I'm in sales. But it's more when we get them on campus, we're showing them who we are.
Sure.
We're not trying to be something that we're not. We got a lot of really, really good things to sell here at Bethel.
Absolutely.
Whether it's academics or our spiritual life. When you tell a recruit and their family that, Bethel University over the years has won 47 national championships, that's pretty impressive. So we intend to be good. We desire to honor Christ by being excellent at what we do. And but again, I want our recruits to choose to come here. I don't want it to be because we did the best sales job or I talked them into it. I'm looking for a commitment to come here and work hard. And part of working hard and being a college athlete for 4 years means there's going to be some hurdles that we're going to have to jump. There's going to be some tough times. And, I want girls to choose that. Not necessarily that they're looking forward to those tough times, but those tough times, those times when we're stretched is when growth happens. And we had lots of opportunity to grow last year.
I mentioned
I told lots of people, not only were we 9-19, we lost 12 games in a row during the middle part of the season. It had been really easy to pack it in, to quit, but the girls just kept working and working and working, and by the end of the season, we were a pretty good team. We won 3 of our last 4.
It was really interesting in talking to the gals about their spiritual development. Each and every one of the 3 we talked about they have grown exponentially since you've taken over the program, and having that father figure. And once again, I made that comparison that, hey, listen, this is someone, speaking of yourself, that is a great role model as a future husband. They want someone who's going to love them. And one of our dear friends that we shared, Jody Martinez, shared something with me a long, long time ago when he was the women's basketball coach here. He shared with me that his mindset when he was coaching here was, I'm going to coach them as hard as I did when I was coaching the boys' team or on the men's team, but I'm also going to love them the way I love my wife. Yeah. And to me, there's a really unique balance in that regard, is that you love your children. Yeah. And you just got your daughter just got married, so you understand that love you have for your kids.
Sure. Well, the spiritual growth is not about me. Right. We're in a place that that's going to happen. Sure. If you're invested in Bethel University, there's going to be opportunities for that. We had a retreat this past weekend. The girls, while I was giving my daughter away, went to Maya Shelton's farm, and we had a couple speakers for them. And so we do things like that, or pre and post game meetings with our character coach, and there's a lot of different avenues. But it's not because I'm the head coach. It's because this is a place where the Holy Spirit thrives, and there's lots of opportunities for growth.
All right, well, we've talked about the 3, Mariah, we've talked about Maya and Nyla. They talked about you for a while, so I want you to, let's talk about those 3 gals. Okay. And those are the 3 that you chose to represent to the public today through our portal. So talk about those 3.
Yeah, so Nyla comes back to us as a senior. She's been through this thing more than anybody else. She has really good offensive skill, has the ability to score the ball. There's been some struggle, trying to find the right position for her. Mm-hmm. I think we've found the 2 spot being the best place for her. She certainly can score the ball off the bounce and can score the ball in transition. And we look for big things from her because of her experience and because she's a senior. Maya Shelton comes as second team all-conference. I think maybe in the past 2 years. The year before I got here, I think she was second team as well. Can score the ball in a lot of different ways. Provides a lot of really good leadership, and is just a tough-minded young lady that you want on the floor when the game's on the line. And Mariah Clayrell made the all-freshman team last year. Really proud of her. Has the ability to score the ball inside and out. Probably going to play some 3 and 4, even though she'd be an undersized 4. And again, she's got some toughness about her that helps her accomplish things on the floor, but also allows her to be a good leader on the floor.
All right, let's take a look at the rest of this roster. I know if you're talking to the gals, they were really excited about the, Caroline Morris in the post, some of the stuff that she brings to the club. But so let's just go up and down that roster and some expectations you have for these gals.
Caroline is. Was energy off the bench for us last year. She's probably, particularly early in the year, going to be called on more with Abby Williams coming off off-season knee surgery. Not sure she's going to be ready to go at the beginning of the season. Hopefully, we were just looking at schedule today. First conference game is November 18th again, on the road at Goshen. That's kind of an arbitrary goal to see if she can get back by then, but that's going to put Carolina in a place where we're going to need to get more from her during that time when Abby's out. So have a big hope for her.
Who else on this roster is going to, you're expecting major things from?
We got 2 transfers. Callie Harrison, a transfer from Western Michigan, and Faith Davis, a transfer from Trinity Christian. Both of them will see significant minutes, whether it's a starting role or coming off the bench. And with the experience they have, we need that. We need what they bring to the table. Callie will play a point guard role for us, and Faith will be like a stretch 4, pretty prolific 3-point shooter in her 2 years at Trinity Christian.
When you look at one major move in the offseason for you was moving Jasmine Elliott from a grad assistant to being a full-time assistant.
Mm-hmm.
She's evidently earned your trust and earned your respect. Talk about the transition for her into that role.
A lot of things don't necessarily work out the way you want them to. But after the fact, you look back and thought, man, that's really cool that God worked it out that way.
Sure.
And you can say that about her transition from GA to being a full-time assistant. Wasn't something that we planned on, and initially wasn't even looking at doing that. But through a set of circumstances, she's now our full-time assistant, and she's learning and growing, and is doing a very fine job. So excited to have her as my full-time assistant.
All right, so coming into year 2, what is going to be different that we may or may not see from this women's basketball program? It's your program, and year number 2, so you've got some of the kinks you've worked out. Give us your thoughts on some expectations.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we do a much better job of taking care of the ball. That was one of our real Achilles heel last year. Our shooting from 3 or perimeter shooting was not very good for most of the year. It got better late, and hopefully that will continue. I know shooting is one thing that's, you can't. It's not going to be great every night we step on the floor.
Right.
But that's another area that we've got to really, really improve on. So I guess those 2 things, offensively, defensively, we've got to be able to guard the post better. With some of the size in our conference, we got to find a way to do that better. So girls are working really hard. We've had a very good preseason, both in the weight room and doing running and doing agility work, and we're real close to being ready to go.
When you look at the dynamics of the Crossroads League, you've had a very unique experience because you spent a year working for Steve Draben as the assistant men's coach, so you already knew that the men's side of the Crossroads League is like going to war every time you put your uniform on. Did you expect that the women's to be equally as tough and ornery as the men's side of things?
I guess I did, because of the high level of just athletics in general in the Crossroads League. Our men's soccer team won the NAI National Championship last year. On the women's side in soccer, the two teams that played for the national championship were both from the Crossroads League, and that's just there's many more examples. So I expect it to be tough. You've got 2-3 teams in a conference that they are expecting to win a national championship, not just a conference championship, but a national championship. And a conference championship is, with the quality of players and coaches in our league, quite an accomplishment. But I guess the answer to your question is yes, I did expect that.
When you look at the Crossroads League and you look at the dynamics of the league, playing a home and away, and those types of stuff, you're going to get a chance everybody to play on everybody's home court respectively, and you've had a chance to experience that when you go against the Marians and the Indiana Wesleyans and the Taylors, and we go up and down the line about how good this league is as a whole. Do you have to spend any headspace, if you will, in motivating gals, or at this stage it's like, okay, ladies, this is what we do?
I think the biggest thing is, basketball's a long season. You hear that from probably every college coach, but being able to maintain your energy level and being disciplined in how you play for a long period of time is as big a challenge as who we play. So, I don't want this to be just coach speak, but we are more concerned about ourselves than our opponent. That doesn't mean we're not concerned about our opponent. We're very concerned. But we've got to be able to practice well, take care of our bodies, get the film study done that we need to get done in the preparation, how important the preparation is for what we do. And that's probably the biggest thing. And to be honest, it's probably the biggest change for me taking over the program to the previous regime was that kind of stuff.
I want to close this by talking about the guy who probably had as big an impact in your life as anybody, and that's the legendary Paul Patterson. You had a chance to play for Coach Patterson at Taylor University. He's really one of the greatest basketball coaches, and seriously was a spiritual dynamo, and I've had a chance to spend a lot of time with him as I covered both men's and women's basketball in this league for the last quarter century. You grew up right here, went to James Whitcomb Riley High School, so it's easy for you to fall in love with this geographical area. But let's just talk about the role that your college coach played in your life, because you're having that same type of role in the lives of your young ladies.
Yeah. It was incredibly important to who I have become as a person. Other than my dad, Coach Patterson had a huge effect on me. In a positive way. I told lots of people he got more out of me than I planned on giving, and I planned on giving a lot. But the lessons that I learned from him daily were incredibly important. And I'm just sorry he's not with us anymore, so I can call him as often as I did through the entirety of my coaching career. But God puts people like that in our lives in different ways, and I hope I did a good job of taking advantage of the opportunity I had with him, both as a player and then being an assistant coach for him for 2 years. That was also invaluable, as well as the hundreds of phone calls since 1992 was the last time I coached with him.
Once again, a special thanks to Coach Scott Polsgrove for joining us here on Bethel Women's Media Day. Don't forget you can watch Bethel Women's Basketball right here on Regional Radio Sports all season long in conjunction with everybody here at Bethel University. Coach, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for all you do.
We'll be back with more. See you next time for all of us at Regional Radio Sports. My name is Paul Counter. God bless you all.